I'm Jessica, and I'm Rusty. Hello, I am Jessica coming at you from Hero Born Stitches. This is a FlossTube channel where I talk about my cross stitch progress. Sometimes some other crafts sneak in a little bit. Welcome. Glad to have you here. For anybody who I have left hanging, waiting for the last month, I am sorry. Thank you for sticking in there with me. And thank you for always coming back and seeing the craziness I have to offer. For anyone who is new, welcome. I'm so glad you could join me. If you liked what you see here, please consider subscribing and liking and leaving me a comment, letting me know. So it is May 10th, which is Mother's Day. So first, I want to start out by wishing a happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. And motherhood is a weird thing because it is not really necessarily associated with, to me anyway, with children you have given birth to. You can be mothers in many, many ways. It's really a behavior. It is really an attitude. And so thank you to all my mothers out there. So it has been, like I said, a month. I'm going to save the life update till the end because it might be a little bit long and rambling. So let me let you know what to expect here. I keep looking down at my notes because I want to try to make sure I'm getting this right here. So I've got a lot to share with you today. I have 14 different projects, 2 fully finished objects. No, they're not fully finished. Oh, I wish. 2 finished objects, 4 new starts. And then I'm going to share some other WIPs, which stands for work in progress, with you. I have just a little bit of a knitting update. You probably won't see much there. I have not a ton of haul, but some haul to talk to you about. I have some Stitchy Kindness I received from a friend that I want to share with you. I also want to update you on the Stitchy Kindness project that I have kind of going on the side, and then we will kind of slip into plans and then end with that life update. So I live in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, very flat Kansas. And it is yet again a very overcast day outside. So lighting might be doing something weird. I will let you know that beforehand, before we get started. So let's just jump in. The first finished object is Daffodil Drive by Stitching with the Housewives. This is part of a series that they ran, I think, last year, maybe year before. I can't even remember, where they had a different house with a flower for every month, but they don't actually have the months on them. So you can kind of give and take as you wish. So this you have seen before. This is the house part that was finished quite some time ago. And what I did finish is the little sign that goes with it. So there we go, Daffodil Drive. I will tell you, I'm looking at this now and it's like even more apparent on here. I definitely made a huge mistake on one of the daffodils, was not going to fix it. And I stand by that decision. This is all done. This and the house are done on just white Monaco with a called for Classic Colorworks flosses. And yeah, this was called through temperature stitching. It had been in my temperature stitching, which I will explain when I talk about the new stuff. And I think it was only called a couple times, but even with that, it was close to getting finished. I just needed to finish it. So it is done. So that feels good. So one WIP off the list since I have been growing WIPs. The second finished object I have for you is the piece sampler that comes out of those antique sampler needlework books that I have talked to you about. And here it is. It is finally all done. Yay! you can see when it was started. It's been a long time coming. That yellow does not show up very well on camera or in person, but that's okay. I'm living with it. Now, this piece is part of the reason we're getting fun light things again. Just ignore it. I'm going to try to. Um, so this piece is part of the reason I actually don't have more to show you, because I was stitching along, knew that there was a chance I was going to finish it, a good chance I was going to finish it. And if you remember, I had that center motif, the one with the yellow that doesn't show up very well, the little pot of flowers, and I was just tooling along, and I start filling in the other motifs because I wanted to save the little deers to the last because I knew those were quick stitches. So I wanted to get all the fiddly stuff done before I got there. And at a certain point, as I was filling those in, I looked and I realized that my entire center motif and the two dark trees on either side, as well as the lighter trees on the bottom, were all placed incorrectly. And it wasn't a minor misplacement. They were literally 5 stitches to this side, too heavy to this side. So there was no way I could leave it. So I ended up having to rip out, I want to say, both of these hearts. Let's see, where am I? Both of these hearts, the trees. I cannot do this while I'm recording. Sorry. Both of these hearts up at the top, the whole center motif, the trees, the dark ones, the light ones, all of that, and restitch them. So that was a whole lot of fun. I've kind of been saying that I'm living the pond life this last month because rip it, rip it, rip it. This is not the only piece I had to unstitch and restitch. So anyway, yeah, so it is done. And I'm super glad to have it done because this is the one that I really, really, really disliked stitching on. I will say that it didn't get cold enough to get done. By the time I had done all of those stitches, I was just like, nope, we're finishing it. We're finishing it and putting it away because really all I had left at that point were the little deer. So there you go. So 2, all done. Super, super happy. If you guys will remember in April, my stitchy bestie, Katie at the Wandering Foot, and I decided that we were doing like, I don't even remember, Spring Stitch Fest, something like that, and just freely starting anything we wanted to start. And so I do have a continuation of that. I have shown you some of the new things that I started already, but I did start a few additional things. 4 additional things. So the first one is Autumn Quaker by Rosewood Manor. This is what it will look like when it is all done. And so I started on this, did an upper left-hand corner start like I normally do, and I did the first motif. So I will tell you right now that this is not the motif that I should have started with, because I think there's only like 12 colors in the entire thing. And I think this has at least 10 of them in this motif. It was certainly a lot of start again, stop again. I'm doing this in the called for Veldani floss, which I am really, really enjoying a lot. And it is on a piece of 28 count linen by Fox and Rabbit, and I cannot remember the name of it right now. So I will put that like below or above or something so you can see what that is. It is, I have a whole yard of 28 count of this, and it just seemed to fit very, very well. So my plan is, as I continue with this, to kind of go all the way across the top. I did cut it to size, so go all the way across the top. all the motifs across the top, just anything that kind of touches that border that's kind of in that range, and then work my way down the left side. So I kind of get my bearings, all of that, and then we'll keep going. But I loved stitching on this. This is one of the projects I brought with me. I'm holding it the wrong way. This is one of the projects I brought with me to Arizona on my trip, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. And it took me a while to get to it. Probably the last day or two that I was there, it finally came out of hiding. So, and I was bound and determined to get that whole motif done. And oh my gosh, the colors are so beautiful. Absolutely love it. So that is the first new start that I have to show you. The second new start I have to show you. Let me see what order I want to do these in. Is there an order? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Second new start I want to show you is Snape's Library. It is charted by Cross Stitch Studio, and this was what it will look like when it is all done. Now, this one I'm going to attempt to do extreme cross country. I know that Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, is doing this one. I know that Kim Hollenbach, the Spartan Stitcher, is doing Trelawney's. I know that Stewart's in Stitches is also doing Trelawney's. Everyone's kind of looking at these pieces as extreme cross country, and there's a reason why, because there's like 230 some, almost 240,000 stitches of 939. So it's a good one for it. As you can see, I started in the upper left-hand corner, and there is so much 939, which is okay. It went really, really quick. So I am doing this on 28 count, easy grid cloth. I don't know what this technically is. It's not really Lugana, but just easy grid cloth. And this is the one that I had all kitted out in CXC. I had not worked with CXC before. I am doing it tent stitch, not full cross. So this is my first coverage that has been my first full coverage that I have tried the tent stitch, and I have tried the CXC. Now I have to say I am loving the CXC coverage that I'm getting through this. I would just say make sure you go through a reputable dealer. I will link the one below that I went through up on Etsy. She was fantastic. Can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I'll probably post it on the screen too. She had me all kitted up and ready to go in no time. And I will say that I am doing tent stitch. I'm not doing half cross stitch. And I'm really specifically doing tent stitch because one of my fears, maybe it's too strong of a word, but with one of my fears with doing that is that, you know, it is an even weave, and sometimes this little thread is making minutes. Sometimes with even weave, you will lose stitch a little bit too easily. And so I'm making sure I do tent stitch. It also makes it really a lot easier to weave things in on the back. So I plan to continue as I have been. However, there is something that I'm very intrigued with, and that is Cross Stitch Meadow. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of him. Relatively new floss tuber, and he is also a floss stitch designer. And Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, made this recommendation. It's like this 2-hour long, how he does full coverage. It is intriguing, and I really think I want to try it. I'm not sure this is the piece I want to try it on, although it would be kind of gratifying to see the whole picture come together. But I'm thinking about switching at least one, if not a couple more of my pieces to that method. I traditionally do not like perking because it just looks so messy. But he does these like thread icicle things. You'd have to watch the video to see, but he does these thread icicle things and it just makes it so tidy and aesthetically pleasing, and it makes me very happy when I look at it. Um, so yeah, I think I might be converting. I'm going to try it anyway. Maybe I'll try it on a new start. Who knows? Like I don't have enough new starts. But yeah, so Snape's Library. There are 5 different library charts from um, kind of the Harry Potter series in there. Snape is my favorite character, and I was visually drawn to that chart, and so I figured let's go for it. Okay. Next new start is Fruit Dove Frenzy by Boomerang Stitches. I have not stitched any boomerang stitches before. This is what it's going to look like when it's all done. I have not stitched any boomerang stitches before, haven't stitched any of their patterns. And I picked up a fair number at Nashville Needlework Market, so I decided to give one a start. So I did. So I guess I could fold this. It's kind of way too big for the screen here. Way bigger than it needs to be because I do not have that big of a start. Oh my goodness. Look at us. Aperture issues. Okay. I did a center start and this is where I got to. I am doing this on white Monaco. So it is stiffy, stiff, 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 28 count. And so it is going to be big. It's going to be a big piece. I had this all kitted up in DMC. And then I thought back to that. I ordered a full set of what was supposed to be CXC floss from AliExpress. I'm not sure how you say it, just to give it a try. And you know what? It was not CXC. And now that I actually have CXC, I know it's way not CXC. It's very, very silky. I would say mostly synthetic, but it's not horrible and it's not horrible to stitch with. And since I only needed 1 skein of everything for this piece, I decided I'm going to use some of that to go ahead and stitch this piece. So some of the colors are a little more off than they should be. But you know, I only need 1 skein of each, so it seemed like a good opportunity to use that floss. There were 2 floss colors that were called for that they did not have, so I'm just using the DMC for that. But yeah, so I just kind of started on that center dove, just looking at the purples. What I tried to do with all of my new starts for the most part. So the Autumn Quaker, I wanted to get that first motif done. That was kind of the goal. With Snape's Library and everything else, I wanted to try to get a good 2 days worth of stitching in it. And some of the days were longer than others, but tried to get like a couple days of stitching in it. And because I've been real busy, stitching has been hard to come. Stitching time has not been easy to come by. So yeah, so that is 3. And the 4th one was my birthday start, which I started with Stewart's and Stitches. And it is The Poison Apple by Bella Filipina, one of his Disney princesses. And thank you guys all for everyone who joined with us. So this is my start. So this takes some explaining. So I am doing this on the called for fabric, which can't exactly remember off the top of my head. If I can, I'll pop it in there for you guys. Doing it on the called for fabric, but I did get the opalescent version of it. I chose 32 count because it was something that I could get right away. I think it's Bestitch Me, pretty sure it's Bestitch Me. And I knew I wanted to start on the framework. Kind of eating my vegetables first. I want to try to get that whole framework done and then little back stitchy pieces around the outsides. Like coming in towards Snow White before I stitch her, because that is going to be the fun part. Now you might be looking at that and saying, hey, Jess, that's not right. And you're right. It's not right. I had a devil of a time finding Kreinig or the rainbow alternative, rainbow floss, whatever it is, alternative for the called fors. I looked just about everywhere and I could not find it. And so I decided to use it is Rainbow Gallery, I believe is the word I'm looking for. It is still Rainbow Gallery. It is the Silk Lame. And I kept on, I really did my research and I looked and it was saying that it was compatible, maybe a little bit easier to work with. Well, this, and then, okay, so the color was mallard that I'm supposed to use of Kreinig. And mallard to me, I go, it's a duck. And for some reason, because it was this archway that had flowers and everything's in my head, that was green. Now, I didn't really like green, kind of like that green mallard duck situation. Should I have referenced the chart a little bit more? Yes, I should have. So I went and found what was closest to, in my mind, what mallard would be in the Silk Lame. At least that's what I think it is. If not, I'll stick it on the screen someplace, which was called Peacock. And I ordered a couple in and I started stitching with it. And then I started Googling some more because I was like, dang, this shit is thick. This is thick. Not super fun to stitch with. I mean, not as bad as just like acrylic, but not acrylic, metallic, but it is thick. And it kept telling me that, yeah, it was appropriate. And then I keep looking at things and yeah, it's questionably appropriate. I guess I'll put it that way. One of these days, I will figure out how to hold things on camera. Now, that being said, I'm leaving it and I might even need to buy another card of this because I'm not all the way down one side yet. A little bit, about halfway is where I started because I started at the top, not all the way down the side. And I've almost used one whole card of this. Now, some of that had to be wasted because of ripping out. Because I got some counting wrong, but for the most part, I don't think I would have had enough either way. I'm going to leave it because it actually, it doesn't show up on camera. There's no way that I can probably get it to show up on camera, but it is really very, very sparkly. And it really looks like I have beaded the entire thing, which is super cool. Now, the apples, I bought the Silk Lame also, and so they will be the same kind of sparkly, and there's some gold bits in this little frame that are also in Silk Lame, and it's going to be tight with all those stitches. But that's kind of like when I decided I was going to go with it, I decided to leave those little things to last. Like I'm going to stitch the whole frame before I do that, before I do the cross stitches and the other colors. Whether they're gold, silk, gold matte, whether they're silk. What is the word I'm looking for, you guys? I'm having a day. Whether it's the Silk Lame, if that's what it's supposed to be, I don't even remember at this point or not. I'm going to save them for the end because it is tight. It will be tight. I do think there's enough room. And I think since they'll be stitched on top of this stuff, they'll pop and it will be fine. Now, anyone who has stitched this pattern knows that there's also back stitching that needs to be done with this floss. There is absolutely no way I am back stitching leaves with this floss. It will just look like a big mess. It is way too thick to even think about back stitching with. You cannot really divide it. That's not really practical. And there are a couple of single stitches kind of hanging from branches that are also supposed to be in this floss. So I might end up doing those single stitches. Well, they're like 2 stitches together in this floss. But right above those stitches are some beads, and I know I have some green beads that I could use instead. So we'll see. We'll see once we get there. So I'm already making adjustments to it, but I am having a lot of fun. It was interesting. That's the word I'm going to use. It was interesting as I was starting to work with it. But it's so pretty. I wish it showed in person how pretty it is, because it is a lot more pretty than it shows on camera. I don't know how do you catch sparklies on camera? I don't know. It's very sparkly, and it really genuinely looks like I beaded each and every single one of those stitches. So I'm leaving it. It can be green. I can do my own thing. That's fine. There are no cross-stitch police, right? Right. Okay. Let's get to temperature stitching. Let's see. So temperature stitching, like I said, I'm just going to record a video sometime that I can just insert. So I will stop murdering this description every single time I try to talk about it. Part of me doesn't want to talk about it. Then it seems like when I don't talk about it, somebody asks me what it is. So basically, it is just a way that I try to get some work done on projects that are not my focus projects, where I have WIPs, works in progress, that correspond with different projected high temperatures, and that dictates what I am going to stitch for the week. So I usually, every time WIP is called that corresponds with that high temperature, I usually stitch 100 stitches. I do look forward so I can kind of plan my week out around that. They will stay in temperature stitching until either they get finished. I've done 1,000 stitches, so they've been called 10 times, or it gets to a logical stopping point, or if I just get sick of it and need to pull it out. I don't think I have done that very much though. So yeah. So temperature stitching. So I have been in the process of converting my temperatures from 10 different digits, like 0 through 9, down to 5 different categories. And now I can safely say they're all paired up nice. So I'm down to 5 different categories. 3 of those categories are old WIPs. So those are WIPs that I do not have a start date on. I put together a spreadsheet, I think just shortly before I started recording FlossTubes, just trying to organize everything. And so anything that doesn't have a start date on it is fair game for those 3 spots. The other 2 spots, one of them is catch-up stitching from 2025, because I have a long list of plans, because I really like to make big plans, and I am super stubborn and bound and determined to get that catch-up stitching done, even though it is May 10th of 2026. So one of those is catch-up stitching, and the other one is a new start, which I have put on. I put the catch-up stitching and the new starts that I have this year on a wheel. A wheel thing goes like this. A tiny decisions wheel to kind of help me decide what is going in there. As far as the 3 old pieces, that is just entirely up to me what I want to stick in. The rule is that they have to have stitches in them to get added to that category. So I might need to rethink that strategy a little bit, because temperature stitching has been very good for me, and I have completed a lot of my old WIPs. Do I still have things to choose from? Yes, I do, 100%. There's a couple of them that will be knocked off super quickly when I stick them in, and I think I'm going to stick them in pretty quickly. But it's starting to be a more limited choice. And there's some things in there I absolutely want to get done, and there are some things that I'm not so excited about working on. Maybe I should just stick all those in a decision wheel too. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm going to warn you right now, I do not have any pictures of anything from last time you saw it because, again, new computer. I do not know why I'm having so much trouble getting files from one thing to the next, but I am. And I have been horrible about taking pictures of them also. So, yeah, so we don't have that. I will, I know I said this last time, I'm going to try to take pictures before I put these away, or at least like start the habit of before I start stitching on something, take a picture of it. So I'll at least have those. Instead of doing this big, I have to take pictures of 14 different things situation. Okay, so the first piece of temperature stitching, and I don't have counts on these either because I'm behind on temperature stitching. It's been a month. I've lost track of everything. So just know that it was called at least once. Most of them more than once, but yes. So the first temperature stitching piece I have is called Beautiful Grains. It is a pamphlet. It is very old, put together by the Karen Collection. I don't even know whether they make half these flosses anymore. I haven't gone out and looked. I mean, I still see like the wildflowers and a couple things. Some of the other stuff I have no idea if they make. But this is the picture on the front of the pamphlet. And these are 3 different examples of what you can make. And so it is this basic framework. And then they have a list of all their different types of flosses. And they have suggested skeins for each suggested strands for each floss for each section of these pillows. And so that this little piece on front of the pillows. So I bought this like early 90s, very early 90s. And I had done like the very littlest piece in the middle and then just kind of stopped. But I am having so much fun working on it. It is a ton of fun. There's different choices for the different stitches, and then you can choose whatever color, whatever weight you want. They give you lots of different options. So this has come and has thread on it. Imagine that. This has come a long way since you've seen it. And in part because it really doesn't take very long to stitch. It's not very big. I want to say it's on like a 20 count. I did pull it out of the frame because it was like a little bit distorted. Should have ironed it, didn't iron anything. Yeah. So I only have one more section of the herringbone stitch to do just right up here. And then these are all this kind of cross hatch stitches. I know what color I'm doing that in, and then that is it, and it will be done. I believe this was called for this coming week, I believe. And if it was, it's not going to take, it'll probably be fun. It is very possibly a finish next time I record. So, yeah. So yeah, it is so fun. And again, there's lots of sparkles in here that you're not seeing. But yeah. So of course I did like purples and greens and some whites and some blues. Is the palette I picked. I think it was all kitted up. I actually still have the receipt for it because it was stapled to the pamphlet. And it was like $30 for the pattern. And I probably have 12 different types of specialty floss in here. From silk to water lilies to water flowers to something called Snow Rachel, double dipped Rachel. Like I said, I don't know if they make a lot of that. This has crazy texture on it, like these stitches right here. Can you see that? Like, I guess I need to keep some background there. Like these little corner stitches, like they're little mountain peaks. I mean, there's crazy texture all over this thing. But yeah, I'm really loving it. And I'm loving how it comes together. And I am currently trying to figure out how I want to finish it. I kind of don't want to put it in a pillow. I kind of want to frame it because it's just fun. Yeah. So that has been a work for a long time, a really long time. Second piece of temperature stitching that I have is actually rotating out of temperature stitching. I finished the 1,000 stitches on it, and it is, let me say, Moon and Sun Sampler by the Scarlet Letter. This is what it looks like when it's all done. And this is a really old piece too, that I was in border hell on forever. And then finally got that whole border done and was able to get the first of these little motifs started at the bottom. Let's see, how can I do this and not kill the light? Okay, so I got this little motif, this little flower vase, completely done. My satin stitches do not look fantastic, but I am living with it. And then I was even able to start Eve here. So this is done on, this was all a kit from the Scarlet Letter. It's all silk. It's one strand over one strand over one thread over one strand, however I want to say that. You can barely see Eve because it's flesh tone color and I'm stitching it on natural, which is what came. I do not know what the count is. I'm guessing 32 or 36. It probably says on the kit if I go look. Here, let's see if you can see that a little bit closer. Yeah. So Eve is kind of squat-legged. And she's got some thick thighs and a really long torso. I think this is why this is like a reproduction from an antique sampler. And I think this is why they typically clothed people in those. But yeah, got a little start on Eve. Now I have to say, I was looking at it. So it's just like her entire self is just this flesh tone. So it'll go pretty quick. And actually, now that I'm not in border hell, it is going quick. But I was looking at it, I was just like, okay, she's just a big blob of flesh tone. There's no definition. There's no color variation. There's no back stitches anywhere to try to give some definition. She's just like a square, a very long square with some thick thighs and very short legs. But I was looking and there is this color right about where her arms are because she's like holding the apple. And there's this dark color like on both sides of her. And I was super confused. And the first thing I thought is, did they put Eve's armpit hair in here? No, it's her hair. It's her hair. She has the same color in her hair and it just is flowing down. Because apparently she's doing like this or something. It's just flowing down under her arms. So Adam is very much the same. He is also rather thick. Maybe I just need to hold it up higher. There we go. You guys don't need to see my face. Rather thick, rather squat-legged. So in the middle, of course, there's a tree. I did not put initials in yet. I still am deciding what I want to do with that. I need to chart out the initials I want. There's another identical flower pot on the other side and a little squirrel. So my plan is when it comes back into temperature stitching, and let's see what I can get the light to do here. Is probably work everything across the bottom. I might not work the tree all the way up. We'll see. We'll see when the mood strikes me. But yeah, that rotated out. The next piece of temperature stitching is Little Gems 2 by Gemstone Designs. I did go ahead, and it's probably a little bit blurry, but I kind of cropped the picture of it out of the front of the chart for you guys. And this is what it will look like when it's done. I changed the hoop on this. It does have drawn thread in it, but this is where I am peeking to see what you guys can see. As you can see, I finished all of the little cross stitch border this all came in a chart. It is this off blue linen, this light blue linen. I do not know what the count is. I'm guessing 32 or 36. And it's all done in silk, except for those little flower motifs, which is water lilies in the colorway pistachio. Whew, we are having fun with the light here. I might adjust a setting here, see if that helps me at all. It might just make it worse. I don't know. So all that is left to do on this piece is Algerian eyelets. And in between these two white borders is just a row of pink, yikes, ooh, pink Algerian eyelets. So next time this is called, next time it comes up, this should be a finish next time. I know there's probably more than 100 stitches in those Algerian eyelets as I go around, even if I'm only counting each stitch as half a stitch. I'll still get it finished. It's been too long. It's been around for a long time. Again, back from early 90s. Okay. I'm going to real quick try to change a video setting here. I'm talking to you. See if that helps at all. Because that's driving me nuts. I told you to ignore it. I can't even ignore it myself. But yeah, so I'm really, really happy to be almost done with this. I have Little Gems 1, also the kit for it. So I don't know, might need to be starting that. This only took like over 30 years. So clearly I can get the other one done in no time. The last piece of temperature stitching I have is Latitude by Long Dong Samplers. This is what it will look like when it is all done. And this I am behind on. This is in my catch-up stitching category. I actually have it in 2 catch-up stitching categories. One for Whip into Shape from Andrew the Runner Stitcher. The first time he did Whip into Shape, not the walking challenge he's doing now. But so I was doing it for that. And then I also had it in Great British Bake Off stitching. So this is where I am. This got enough. This caught, oh my gosh. This is a bed sheet right here because I haven't cut it down, which I need to. So I am doing this with silks. Dang it. Okay. I am doing this on Tornado, 28 count Tornado by Fox and Rabbit. I've given myself ridiculous margins. I do not know why. Maybe because I have a whole yard and I'm holding the whole yard in my hands. Let's see. If I hold it up, the light seems to be better. Okay. With silks for you, I want to say it is 9. The number is 9. And they're PR9. I was working up in this area up there, extended the border, and was just trying to fill that in. It has been called enough, so it is rotating out of temperature stitching as soon as I'm done stitching it. I have had a lot. Okay, this fabric is something else. Like a Fox and Rabbit usually is not this speckled, and it is really speckled and wonderfully speckled. And I'm really loving the way it's working. So Latitude by Long Dong Samplers. I hope I said that. I love working on this piece. I have not had a whole lot of stitchy days. I have had many no stitchy days lately, which I'll explain at the end of the video. And so I'm behind, which is really good at keeping up this year. You guys have to admit, I've been very good at keeping up so far, except for the Haid and the Christmas market and fully finishing objects. But other than that, I've been pretty good at keeping up. And I really this last month just really have fallen behind on a lot of things. So when I was going through and starting to try to catch up on things. I was picking pieces to stitch that had the fewest number of stitches to catch up so I could just kind of get them off my list. But I have been tracking everything and I know where I'm at and it's very doable still. Nose to the grindstone. I should be able to get things caught up. But yeah, I love stitching on this piece and it kind of killed me especially because I had so many stitches. Let me see if I can hold it the right way. I just need to measure and cut this bad boy down. It's huge. I love stitching on it. It is so soothing because it's just a single color. It's on 28 count. It's easy. I love stitching with silk. Silks for You is beautiful. I didn't pick a highly variegated floss, clearly, because my fabric is kind of crazy and they would have just fought each other. But yeah, it's been called. It's been called its number of times to swap out. So when we get to kind of plans, I'll talk to you about what is going in there. So the next thing I need to talk to you about is SALs. So I do have progress on 3 of my SALs, and these are one of the things that I prioritized catching up, at least where I was behind. The first one is the 2025 SAL from the Steady Thread. This is what it will look like when it is all done, or what it would look like if I had used just black on this nice light fabric, which I did not do. Hindsight is 2020, but that's the exact pattern, all those choices, everything that I have made. Like I said, I do not have pictures of where it was last time you saw it, but this is where I am now. Make sure that you guys can see. Peek. Okay. So I want you to notice a couple things. First, look at where I am with the little bubbles. That is officially 26, which means that I am halfway done with the little bubbles. Second, look at how few little bubbles I have left to do in black. Look at that. Look at that. I am just down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 5 more little bubbles left to do. What I am doing with this is I am doing one of the little bubbles. I don't know what to call them. We're just going to call them bubbles. I'm doing one of the bubbles. Why is it so much better up here that I bring it down here and it's like all blurry? Anyway, maybe it's a new camera situation. I don't know. New camera, new computer. Anyway, I am doing one of the little bubbles every week and then doing a full length of the black. Just like I was catching up border, and now I'm down to filling in bubbles. So this is done on Cafe LA, 28 count Ada, I believe, by Fiber on a Whim. And the black is All Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks. Maybe I just need to sit closer. And then I'm afraid like my face is right in your face. Black is All Rambling. Black is All Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks, and the rest of the colors are just leftover Classic Colorworks that I just have in my stash. Just trying to kind of sort of follow a little bit of a theme there. But yeah, so we are coming to the point where I will be doing 2 bubbles a week soon. And I will explain that when I show my next SAL. I was behind on this. And like I said, prioritized catching up because this is the 2025 SAL. So clearly I did not keep up, as is the story of my life with SALs. But I'm making up for it here. Okay. The next one I have to show you is the Steady Thread 2026 SAL. If you guys, it is never too late to join. All the files are up on the Facebook page for the 2026 SAL. Like I've said before, her SALs are like choose your own adventure stitching. Absolutely. Everything just locks in like a puzzle piece. And so you have different patterns to choose from, different pieces each week. So your piece looks entirely like you want it to look, however you want it to look. I'm going to move my needle here because I am not sure. It seems like I need to hold everything up really high to get any definition in it. So I'm going to have to do the same here. Okay. So again, I was behind before. I do not even know where it was last time you saw it, but this is where I am now. There's one more week in this, and it came out 2 days ago, in this month's block, which is right here. So I just need to do the center piece there. And I am entirely done with the border in the middle. So the outer border, inner border is all done. And as you can see, I even got a little bit of a start. See if I can bring that in so you can see it. Got a little bit of a start on the block, the design in the middle. So I am doing this on 18 count Ada, which is boring, but it is just perfect for black work. And I am using cottage garden threads, I believe, in Tool Shed and Love Seat, which are both variegated, of course, as you can see. But like if you look at these designs, oh my gosh, they are so fun. They are just beautiful. Just beautiful. I love working on this one too. Okay, so we're going to get back to the bubbles here in a sec. I can't work ahead on this. As soon as I have that center piece done, that design in the center done, I can't work ahead because she just releases one piece every week. So as soon as I have the black bubbles on the other one done and the center design done here, I'm going to start doing 2 bubbles a week. So here, what I have been doing is I'm just doing the weekly releases as they come out. Like this was week 1 through 4, 5 through 8, you know, there's 4 releases for each of those blocks. And then I've been using 1 strand of floss towards this center piece here, trying to finish off that center border and get the motif done inside it. Now, cottage garden threads strands are a lot shorter than Classic Colorworks strands, which are ungodly long. So it has been a little bit slower going on the inner border here, but that's okay because we're almost there. We're almost there. But like I said, once I get to that point, I can't work ahead. I don't have any more catch-up work to do on the other one. Then I can go ahead and start doing 2 bubbles and get that one off my WIP list, which was wonderful. The last SAL I have progress on is Modern Folk Embroideries Little Acorns, and it will look like this when it is all done. Again, like I said, I do not have before pictures for you guys. So I am doing this on Fox and Rabbit Saltbush, 28 count, using DMC 816, and it is just looking crazy. DMC 816, which I soaked in some really strong coffee dye, just to give it a little bit of variation there. So it wasn't quite so flat. So I did the entire frame in January, which I've showed you guys before. The top band was February. The middle band was March. Got those all done. April was two bands. It was this first band of, let me do something with that. It was the first band of lettering. And I like stitching lettering. So doesn't hurt my feelings. This was the other project I brought with me to Arizona. I did not get nearly as much stitching done in Arizona as I would like to have, but I was able to finish April's. Now, Jacob has said, do it however you want to do it. You don't have to follow his directions. I like structure and I'm a rule follower. So I got that band done, that first band. And then I also got the second band done right there. So yeah. So if I were to kind of go through the whole piece here, let me see if I can do that. Of course, I put the needle in a weird way, so I can't do that very easily. It is looking so good, guys. I love this piece. Absolutely adore this piece. I have not put a stitch on it so far in March, but March's release is the middle part. I think there's two pieces of that middle band. That's a big ass band for March. So March is not the whole middle band, but there are a couple of big motifs for March in that middle band. And then not March, May. And then I think June finishes off that band. But yeah, I've got the whole thing done, like all laid out. And then there's little monkeys that my granddaughters designed. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I can't take them out. But yeah, oh my gosh, this piece is just gorgeous. It is not too late to start. If you haven't been working on it, just do it. Just do it. It is so fun. There is something about modern folk embroideries patterns that are super relaxing to stitch. They just bring joy. I don't know what it is, but they just bring joy. So if you haven't done something of his, pick something up. You will love it. I promise. The last WIP that I have to show you is the round robin piece that I was supposed to have done at the end of April, and I do not have it done. This is more of the frog life thing that I was talking about. So it is my friend Erin's piece from Cornflower Stitchery. It is the scissors sampler scissors, something like that, by Ulia Billig. And this is what it will look like when it is all done. Lovely piece. As I've said before, Erin just has a knack for finding like beautiful patterns. I'm not sure how she does it, but she does it. And like I said, it was supposed to be done. It is not done. So this is on a piece of Ada that she hand dyed and she shared with my Stitching Connection group. So Stitching Connection is through Jason X Stitches, something he put together last summer. I think it was around last summer. I'm not sure if he's doing it again. I kind of hope he is. Luckily, my fellow Stitching Connection folks, we've done one exchange since last summer, I think. They are kind of behind also. Like everyone planned, let's go ahead and do it at the end of April, and I wasn't done, and other people needed more time too. So I didn't feel badly. That's okay, because we were stitching at our own pace, and I got paired with the absolute most lovely, lovely group of stitchers ever. Love them, love them, love them. We've all become very good friends and we chat all the time. And I've been really bad about chatting because of life stuff. Again, end of video. Anyway. So this whole piece right here is Erin's. This whole side is Erin's that she did and she passed on. and I decided to move to the left. And I did get a fair amount of work on it, done on it. I really did. But this was more pond life, is what this was. Okay. So, first pond life situation. Up here. I'm going to zoom in on this on the pattern so you can see it. Does anything look odd there to you guys? My eye did not catch it when I looked at the pattern. My eye did not catch it when I was stitching it because I think as stitchers we're used to looking for patterns. But if you notice that little dot between the motifs, one of them is missing. I did not recognize that. So that actually wasn't the first frog life thing. So I had this part all done all across here, down the scissors, down the side. I had done most of the stuff you see on the bottom. And I think I went to go put this scissor in right here. And its butt was hanging out. It was hanging out past the little motif. And I was just like, oh, what did I do? And so I double counted, triple counted, could not find a counting error. And I realized that I had left one of these entire motifs off up here. How I did that, I have no idea. I had 5 instead of 6 going across there. Took me a hot minute to find it, but I did, and said some bad words and frogged it all. Rip it, rip it, rip it. Okay, frogged it all back because I can't leave that there. That's like too much. That's a lot of stitches to try to adjust. Okay, restitched all of that. Went ahead, looked at it, and I was 2 stitches long. Not long. I was 2 stitches short at that point. And again, I went through and counted it, everything, counted everything, counted everything. And that is when I saw, I'm going to post that picture back up there again, of this little thing, that little dot that was missing. I didn't take it out. No, I'm not. Because that looks dumb. I'm sorry. Ulia Billig, if you ever see this, I am sorry. It should be right, and it is not right. And if this was hanging on my wall, the moment I saw that, it would bug me absolutely every single time I looked at it. Like it needs to be uniform. Now, if it was in the middle, if the dot was missing in the middle, that would be one thing. It's not. It's missing in some weird random situation. It would drive me nuts if it was hanging on my wall. So I had to fix it. I had to. So as a result, how it's going to affect my other stitchers, and I'm going to put a note before I pass it off. So Erin, I'm sure you're not mad at me for fixing it and not following the pattern, because I know you and I know it would drive you nuts. And I'm sure you didn't even see that on the pattern when you looked at it, because I didn't see it either. This is correctly lined up with this side. This stuff is all correctly lined up. There's a scissor that needs to go right here, and I'm just going to recenter it. So it's going to be this border is going to be 1 stitch wider between this scissor and this little motif and the scissor in the middle. It's going to be 1 stitch wider on each side. I looked at the rest of the pattern. It's not going to throw anything off other than that. My future stitchers on this, my Stitching Connection Night Owls, whoever chooses to stitch this amount directly below me, like I said, I'm going to have notes, and just don't count off that because it had to be fixed. I couldn't leave it. Like the first session of ripping was entirely my fault. And the crazy thing is I knew that I had something looked odd to me there. And I think I counted those motifs at least 4 or 5 times. Apparently math is not my strong suit, which is really not the truth. Math is my strong suit, but it's right now. It doesn't have the weird thing on the pattern. And like I said, it would have driven me nuts. So I know Erin is not going to mind me fixing that. Okay. Knitting, really quick knitting. You guys aren't going to be able to see hardly anything. Still working on the Dotted Ray Shawl by Stephen West with the Dark Omen yarns, the fade that I had showed you guys previously. This did come to Arizona with me on my trip. It was what I worked on the plane and in the airport. So it's just the same color, just the wedges are getting bigger. And bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I love knitting on airplanes. I love knitting when I'm traveling. It is just absolutely the perfect thing to do. I just have to finish this last wedge, this wedge that I'm working on now, and then I start striping in the second color. So, provided I get some time to work on it before I record again, it should look a little different to you guys in the future. So, like I said, real quick knitting. I didn't do much. But speaking of knitting, my friend Anne came to my house the other weekend, last weekend, because she is a new knitter and she's a new crocheter too. She's a colleague of mine and she is the reason that we were searching this year because she is leaving the country actually at the end in May. In May, she's leaving in the country in May. That reminds me, I need to make a note of something. And she's crafty, but not necessarily to the point that I am. And she decided she wanted to teach herself how to crochet this last year, and she did, and she's doing a beautiful job. And then she decided she wanted to teach herself to knit, and she did. She was going to come to my house, but she did it herself. And she has a good number of finished objects already. I think she's very monogamous with it. I don't think she starts a bunch of stuff. I think she just picks something and goes. But anyway, she had yarn that she had bought for a sweater. Yeah, she's knitting a sweater already. She's been knitting like 2 months, but she's got the skills. I'm not lying. She has the skills. I'm very impressed. But she had a bunch of yarns that she had bought and she wanted to, they were in hanks. And I don't think she had bought hanks before. If she had just wound them by hand. And it's a sweater quantity. So I said, just come on over. You can use my, my Swift and ball winder. And so she came over to do that. And then she asked to see my knitting whips and my yarn. We didn't even get through them. Like she was here for a long time. We didn't get through all of them. I got so exhausted going through them that I just had to stop. We didn't even get through all the yarn that I had. Like I think we maybe got through 50% of my whips. Bumped the table, sorry. It was almost shameful because there were things in there I didn't even remember starting. A lot of things I didn't even remember starting. So I'm going to have to go through and like make a little spreadsheet like I did. And maybe it's not as bad. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. I just know that I have a lot of yarn that I bought for specific patterns, for things I haven't even started. Boy, it sounds like cross stitch the more and more I talk about it. Yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, that's definitely a project coming up. There's a lot. I showed her all my finished objects too. And there's a lot. Anyway, yeah, so I'm done with knitting there. Okay. I think on my last FlossTube, I mentioned that I would show you these books. And so I did. I brought them with me. So they are sampler and antique needlework books. They came out in the 90s. This is the first one of them. The piece sampler, which I finished, is out of this book. The Elizabeth Burkham sampler that I finished is out of this book. These you can still find. They're put out by Just Cross Stitch magazine. You can still find these. I looked them up on Amazon the other day just to see if you could, and they are still out there. I'm not sure if they're still in print, but they're still out there. This one in particular, well worth the money. This piece, I'm not going to flip through the whole thing for you because that would be like exhaustive. There are lots of patterns in there. And then there's a lot of information too. Like there's the history of the chatelaine, not the designs, not the cross stitch designs, the chatelaine itself. This Dorothy Preston sampler, which is the one on the front, is one of my favorite. Where can I put this? I need to know what you're seeing, but I can't do that very easily. It's one of my favorite in there. It is very ambitious. It's a big, big old sampler. What can I do here? That is not the solution. Okay. I don't know. If I move it over more so you can see, beautiful, beautiful. It is ambitious, but it is gorgeous. There are so many. Let me see if I can get a quick count of how many patterns there are in this book. Table of contents, anybody? Anybody? Not easily. So I'm not going to take the time to do that, but it has so many pieces in it that I would love to stitch. I've already stitched 2 pieces out of it. It has a lot of information on the history of samplers, and all of that good stuff. There's a couple other that I know I want to stitch out of here. They even have this needlework casket that's gorgeous in there that you can stitch up. Anyway, very, very, very worthwhile. Absolutely beautiful projects. Beautiful, beautiful projects, from purses to white work to everything. So Just Cross Stitch magazine put this out in the early 90s. Trying to get that without some glare. That's hard. Okay. There is a volume 2 that came out a little bit after that one did. And it looks like this. Again, Just Cross Stitch magazine put it out. See, this Adam and Eve actually have some fig leaves, which I appreciate, and a little bit of more shape. And this has a lot of patterns in it too. Many, many, many. I will say that although there are 100% things in here that I want to stitch, like this one is super cute, and let's see what I can do. It's small. It's so cute. I don't know why it's so cute, but it is. Anyway. Has a lot of patterns, still well worth the money. I don't think they're very expensive. I want to say it's like $20, just a dog sampler, a noble dog sampler. Actually kind of looks like my dog. If you're going to pick one, get the first one. I mean, this has good patterns in it. Don't get me wrong. Well worth the money. There aren't as many in this one that I'd want to stitch as there are in the other one. There are some really good pieces, though. Really, really good pieces. So, but if you're only going to buy one, start with the first one because it's better. But yeah, so that is the second one. So I wanted to show those to you guys. I promised I would. I've stitched a couple things out of the first one already. Have more things on my list, but I've got so many patterns. Lord knows if I will ever get back to them. I am not sure. Haul. I have just not a ton of haul, which is really good. Not a ton of haul. One was like a birthday present to myself. Actually, 2 of them were birthday presents to myself. I was loving the Merezhka kit. I got so much. And I just got, I think it's called Winter Evening. And it's a very similar dynamic to this one. So, but it was smaller and I was enjoying it so much. I went ahead and got the other piece, the other kit by them that's called Northern Venice. And I think those two will just look perfect together. I'm not starting it right away, but I was super happy to get it. And I found a really good price on it too. That was part of it. And I am really enjoying the Mereshka kits a lot. A lot. I like, it doesn't know what it wants to do with this picture. So I got that kit. I didn't bring the whole crinkly thing in for you. Second birthday present to myself. Everybody has seen this at this point. Need a Lot Designs, Fantasy Cross Stitch book. Everybody's talking about it because it is fabulous. It is absolutely fabulous. Now, I know Andrew the Runner Stitcher did a flip through of it on his channel. So if you haven't seen that, go look at it. You will get a close up, good view of all the patterns. Catkin and Lily, Jess was talking about it on her most recent FlossTube as well. So good. I have not stitched anything by this designer yet. And I have been holding back, trying to get my stitching caught up before I start something new here. And it will be out of this book. I'm pretty sure it will be out of this book. Just because there's a good number of ones that I want to start. Becca from Becca is Stitching is a big fan. She also talked about this book on her FlossTube. And she was down to 2 that she was wanting to start, that she was thinking about starting. I would like to say I'm down to 2. I'm not. There's some that I am more drawn to than others. We'll start there. The Witch's Cat is definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. I have loved cats since I was little. And that is so cute. I love the little orange slice on the hat. How cute is that? So cute. That is definitely up there on the list of things I want to start. Let's see. Where else? What else is really tempting me here? Yeah, I'm not going to flip through the whole thing. Just like Catkin and Lily said, if you want to see a flip through the whole book, go watch Andrew the Runner Stitcher, because he does a beautiful flip through of it. I do like this lynx. I do like this lynx, but again, very cat-ish. The lynx. So I do really like that lynx. I wouldn't say it's one that I'm considering at this point, but I do really like it. I am Becca. This was in her top 2, and it is definitely within my top, however many I want to say. I want to say 4. I have 4 that I'm thinking about. One of them, not so much. This Guardian of the Forest. I just love that. I'm not sure. I don't know what fabric I'd put it on. I'm not sure I want to go light blue. I don't know. We'll see. Where is the other one? That was just hollering at me. Okay. This Phoenix. I would not do it on that fabric. I want to see that on blue. I really want to see that on blue, but not so dark that you lose the talons and the beak. But I just love that. The other piece. The other piece I was kind of thinking about is the mirror. If you guys have the book, I mean, just a quick piece, but that has metallics in the middle, and you can't really see it because like metallics, as you can tell from my video, don't show up super well. But I thought that would be really fun to stitch too. But really, let's say, so I need you guys to help me choose. So put a comment down below. Say cat, deer, or phoenix. Okay. I need help deciding because I really like all of those. So yeah, that was haul. That was birthday haul for me. The last piece of haul I got is digital haul. So I'll just pop a picture of it up here. It is called The Tree of Life by William Morris. It is full coverage. I got it off Etsy. I love William Morris. Anyone who has watched Katie's and mine Nash Stash haul video hears us talking about that, I am sure has heard us talking about that. And there's really a surprising number of William Morris designs up there. This one popped up for me. I'm not really exactly sure why, but it did. I really like it. I love blues. I love greens. I love William Morris. And it was $4. $4, guys. I'm going to pop it up there again just so you can look at it. So the seller's name is Julie's Cross Stitch, but it's Jullys for Julie's. Jullys Cross Stitch up on Etsy. And she has it on sale right now for $4. I sent it to Katie right away. She's not a full coverage girl, but I sent it to Katie and she's like, oh, for William Morris, I might become a full coverage girl. But she wanted me to try it out first. I told her that the little snippets I could see of the chart looked pretty good. Like it didn't look like there was no detail, like sometimes you get that. It really looked pretty good. And now that I've paid my $4 and downloaded the entire chart, it's a big piece. It is a big piece. There's not a ton of colors in it, though. There's not so many. It's daunting. And this might be like a really, really good one to try that diagonal method that Cross Stitch Meadows has in his video. That's what I'm kind of thinking with this. That's where my mind is anyway with this. Yeah, it looked really, really pretty good. So gonna have to give it a try, right? I think I might just do like 18 count white Aida. I've got loads of it. I just need to make sure the pieces that I have are big enough because it is a big piece. It's a good size piece. But yeah, so I got that for myself. I held back and did not buy the unicorn tapestry charts at Heaven and Earth Designs. I literally gasped when I saw that they had those. I'm between two, like not stitching all 6 or 7 or however many there are. I already have enough full coverage charts that I probably will not finish them within my lifetime. Do not need to add 6 to it, but it's kind of like collecting, right? It's kind of like collecting. I am going to pick one though. It's going to take me a hot minute, but I'm going to pick one because I love those pieces. I have loved those pieces. I completely forgot about them, honestly, until the cross stitch charts popped up. If you haven't looked at those, go look. Heaven and Earth Designs. I will have their information below. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Did not push that button yet. Super tempted to press that button. Okay. My dear friend Erin, who's the piece, the scissor piece here, that's hers. Who I met through Stitchy Connection, sent me a lovely bit of Stitchy Kindness for my birthday, and I appreciate that so much. I won the lottery with the group I was put in, and I will be forever grateful for Jason for that. So she sent me a bag that she made that has a quilt block on both sides. It is fully lined. It has this cute, cute, cute little charm with that owl on there because we're always sending owls to each other. And it's fully lined. Beautiful, beautiful little bag. super enjoy it. She specifically picked colors out of my birthday start, the Poison Apple by Bella Filipinas. So I love it. So yeah, it'll go with that so well. I love it. I love it. So it is going in there as soon as going back in there as soon as I'm done with this video. And she also sent me this little Mill Hill spring kit with this llama on it. Now, I love llamas. I absolutely adore llamas. Anytime I see something with a llama on it, I want to buy it. They're so cute. And I had not shared that with the group. So she really nailed it, like nailed it with this. I love llamas. So I cannot wait to open this up, and it should go quick. It's just a little ornament. Super excited to stitch it. So thank you. Thank you so much, Erin, to you. All right, Stitchy Kindness update. So, those of you who watch me regularly know that I started this thing that I've been talking about since I started FlossTube, this kind of Stitchy Kindness project, which is just really a site where stitchers can post things that they wish for, and then other stitchers can go in and grant those wishes. Just a way of kind of spreading Stitchy Kindness all over the place. These could very easily be strangers, people that you haven't met, people that you might not ever meet, but just want to share that would just want to make somebody's day. Part of it was started because they, like I say in the very awkward introductory video, which I will link below. We all go through different seasons. Like sometimes we have plenty of funds to really help us embrace our hobby and get all the supplies we need. And then other times things are a little bit lean. And I know that I've had both times in my life. And so it isn't just for stitchers who need some help buying supplies. Are there going to be stitchers on there who need help? Yes, there are. But it just feels good to give. It feels as good to give as it does to receive. And most of us in the stitching community have stashes that we've built up. We have patterns that we might not ever stitch that really appealed to us at one time, and now maybe not as much. And we look at it and we're like, yeah, not really gonna do that. We might have fabric that is a count that we know we will not use again. We might have duplicates of things. Lots of different things could be going on. And those are great to give to people. I know at retreats, people bring things to like freebie tables and things like that. Now, I specifically don't want people saying, oh, I've got all this stuff to give away. Let me post it up here. And then it's like first come, first serve, because, and I don't think this would be a problem with the stitching community, but I've been at events like that, or like perfect example, my friend Anne leaving the country, where I have a yarn hoarding problem. She has like body, I don't know what to call them, like body sprays, lotion, makeup, like cosmetic. She has that kind of a problem. And, you know, she can bring 2 bags when she leaves the country. And so she has been bringing it all up onto work. And there's a shelf in the women's bathroom on my floor. And she's just been stocking it and says free, like take what you want. And she only brings in stuff that hasn't been opened. That's like brand new. And I have seen people walking out of there with much more than they need. You know, and that was a little bit of her fear, but she's okay with that, like at this point. But anyway, I don't want people to take stuff just because it's free, you know? So like, I don't really want like a free table tent situation. But I do want, the whole idea is just to kind of create a community where we can just sort of help. I'm really squirreling here, where we can help kind of spread Stitchy Kindness all over the place. So there is a group on Facebook. I will link it below. I might just put it across the screen. Also, it's called the Stitchy Kindness Project. Facebook is less than ideal, but I'm still exploring other non-Facebook options for people who choose not to use Facebook. And we have 30 members now. So it is growing slowly, but it is growing. There are 2 active wishes up there. We still only have 1 wish that has been granted. But if you are at all interested, all intrigued, just please come join the group, join us. It's a great, great group of stitchers that we have in there right now. And pretty soon, hopefully, it will take off. I know it's going to take a little while for it to kind of grow a little bit more, but great thing to go on, post your anything that you want, even if you don't need anything. Like I have a huge stash. I don't need any help buying anything. But like I have a wish up there because it's like new designers. I love discovering new designers. So like it doesn't have to be super big monetarily. But even if you have lots, put a wish up there because it feels good to grant other people's wishes. It feels good to give. So Stitchy Kindness Project, it is up there. Okay. Plans. I'm afraid this is going to be epically long, this video. I know it is. I knew it was when I didn't record for a month. Okay. Plans. First and foremost, catch up. So I need to catch up with WIP Go. I only got one of my WIP Go calls done for April, and that was the new start, the 1,000 stitches on the new start, and that was Snape's Library. So I got that done. The other 2 that were my April WIP Go calls were Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane. This is what it looks like. This lighting, I'm glad this is over my face right now because this lighting keeps making me look like I need a liver transplant. So Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane. I owe that 1,000 stitches from April. And then Christmas Serenity was the second one. I'll put that up there also. That is the Riolas kit. It's one of their wool acrylic kits. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. It just takes a while to get used to because it doesn't lay as flat as like Cotton Floss does or CXC does. Or CXC do. I don't know how I want to say that. My problem with stitching this is that the pattern. I just need to take a page from Becca and rechart it in WinStitch. Because right now the pattern's fighting with me. And they did send me a PDF, but I haven't been able to get it into anything yet. And I've spent so much time trying to do that. I think it would be easier if I just stuck it into WinStitch. Not sure I'm taking the time to do it to do 1,000 stitches though. We'll see. So yeah, I owe both of those 1,000 stitches from April. Temperature stitching wise, I'm about a week and a half behind roughly, which isn't too bad. A lot of that is latitude. The other one that I'm really behind on is Log Cabin Christmas. And I think if that hasn't gotten to the point where it's rotating out yet, it will very, very soon because it's been called a bunch. So those are the 2. They both had a lot of calls. I have not picked those up because I know all of those would take me a minute to do. So there's going to be 2 new old WIPs rotating in for those. I'm not exactly sure what is rotating in yet. Like I said, part of me is thinking about some small ones that I could like get off the list really quickly. Like one of them literally would take 1 session. If you guys watched my, ooh, look what I found video, you would know that I found more things too. Those have to wait till next video. Yeah, it'd be done. And there's another one that I found that is very brief. There's actually 2 other ones that I found that will not take much at all. But I don't know. I don't know whether I want to I don't know whether I want to finish all of those things that I can finish really super quickly, and then just be left with huge projects. So we'll see. Have to figure out which two are going to be rotating in when I'm done with the catch-up stitching part, which is the priority. For the catch-up stitching, for the temperature stitching. For the catch-up stitching category, like I said, Latitude is done. It's rotating out. And I did spin without you guys. I'm sorry. Without you guys to figure out what is my next catch-up stitching piece from 2005 that is slotting in there. And it is Begin. I'll put a picture of it up here by Bent Creek. It is something I started since I started FlossTube, because I asked you guys to help me choose my new start. I spun the wheel and there were like 3 things to choose from, and this one won by a landslide. And I started it and I haven't picked it up since. And I love this piece. I love the saying on it. I love the look of it. I love everything about it. I don't know why I haven't picked it up. Maybe because I've been guilting myself about so many things I need to do. I had it in for, I think it was in for the Great British Bake Off stitching, the stitcher the baker that won. So, and I owe a lot of stitches on it. So I was that made me smile real big when it came up. So, and that is in my new, that is the new catch-up stitching, the new thing for temperature stitching. Now, I do have a category for new starts. So I was going to spin the wheel with you guys, and it looks like there's 6 of them there. So these are just things that I've started new this year that I'm putting on this wheel. And then that will be a spot in temperature stitching until it gets 1,000 stitches, and then we'll do a new one. So I've got them all right here. So let's do that spin and see what new start is going into temperature stitching. Yay! And it's Abundance. So Abundance is my new catch-up piece, which is the very first thing I started. That is by Ink Circles. And I love that piece. It's actually sitting there staring at me in my room. And I haven't let myself pick it up because I have so much other stuff to do. So 1,000 stitches will go a long way on that. That's not a big piece. So 1,000 stitches will go a good amount on that. That'll get us some really good progress. So cool. So we have that done. The new WIP Go calls for me for May are things that have come up in WIP Go before this year, because I just have a standard board. The center spot 13 was a new start and 1,000 stitches on it, which was Snape's Library. Like I said, the calls I want to say were 15 and 18 or something like that. I don't know. Go look. Go look at Jessie Marie Does Stuff, WIP Go. It's there. But mine were Extraordinary Birds by Lola Crow. This is what it will look like when it is finished. This was her stitch along from last year, which clearly I did not get finished. I am not even letting myself start the new one. I want to, but I'm not going to let myself start it because this one is not finished. And yeah, I have too much stuff going anyway. So, so that'll get another 1,000 stitches, which means it will be done for WIP Go for the year, but it is one of those pieces that does not have a start date on it on my little spreadsheet. So it will become available for temperature stitching for those 3 categories of those old WIPs. And I'm pretty close. I wouldn't say I'm close to being finished. There's still a lot of stitching left to do, but there's a lot of work that's been done on it too. So, I'm looking forward to putting another 1,000 stitches in there, see where that leaves me. And it might just end up getting slotted into temperature stitching soon. And the other piece is Scandinavian Christmas by Peggy Davis, charted by Stitch is So Beautiful. And this is what it looks like. It's full coverage. It just makes me happy. Just absolutely makes me happy. And I started this last year, did a little bit. First time through WIP Go, that 1,000 stitches really helped it. I'm starting to look at getting in some interesting stuff right there. So this is not one that I'm super tempted to put in that cross stitch meadows method, because I think if I do that, I'm just going to be, I don't know. Jen the Caffeinated Crafter is like doing this stair step thing, and Jessa Marie Does Stuff does that little stair step thing too with like her blocks and her pages. Maybe. Because if I just went all the way across the top, I'm just looking at really boring ass sky for days. And I mean, it's easy stitching. I just don't want to do that. Like getting into some fun stuff would be good. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. So those are my WIP coat hauls. So of course I'll be trying to work on those. Really want to try to get the scissor sampler finished. There was really, I mean, there's a big ass motif, and then there's a big ass pair of scissors, and then a couple little things. But very doable. I should be able to get this done sooner rather than later. And it's single color stitching. It's on this beautiful, man, I started telling you guys that and I think I completely stopped. So Erin also, she shared with us this beautiful fabric that she has been dyeing. I really think she needs to like hang out a little shingle because she does a beautiful job. So this is done on fabric that she has dyed. It is Ada, I don't know, it's 14 or 16, I'm guessing, and it's DMC 500. If I forgot to tell you guys that way back when. So I need to try to finish that so we can get our exchange going. Of course, I am like ridiculously behind on the Haid SAL. That is definitely a piece I'm thinking about switching to that method. Even if I'm stair stepping, I'm definitely thinking about switching to that method. Thread icicles are so tidy. So definitely working on that. Little acorns, I haven't put a stitch in that yet this month, so that needs some work. So that is also on the list of things that I'm going to do. The other thing that I have been itching to do for a couple weeks are make some project bags. Not only do I have projects that need bags, but my mother, happy Mother's Day, Mom, my mother has requested 7 bags for her. I don't know what they're calling it. I think she's calling it needles and pins or something like that. She's always putting groups together for things. And so she has a group of like herself and 7 other stitchers or knitters or crafters that are getting together like bi-weekly, and she wants to gift each of them a bag that I made. So she has kind of commissioned 7 bags for me. I need to make those, but I would also like to make some for myself. And I really kind of want to get fun with the front, with the outside pieces of the bag. I've got something brewing in my head that I want to work around. So and my sewing machine is super, super, super dusty, literally and physically. Literally. And yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. So that is it for stitching talk. If that is all that you're here for, if you made it this far, thank you very, very much. Please drop me a comment. Let me know which piece out of that book, wherever I put that book, you think I should start, whether it's the cat, the phoenix, or the deer. Drop me a comment, let me know. Comments are always great. I love comments. I love connecting with people that I don't know out there who are stitchers. Yeah. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to start going into my like life update why I haven't recorded in a whole month. So here we go. Okay. I think I recorded, I can't even remember when. I could go back and look, but I'm not going to. So I went on a trip. Now I need something to drink because I've been talking for like an hour and 20 minutes straight, I think. So I went on a work trip to Arizona. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was Tucson. We stayed at a very, very bougie resort, hotel resort. had a big spa. It was beautiful. Scenery was beautiful. The food was wonderful, really expensive, but wonderful. Um, Conference itself was great. Lighting in the hotel room was terrible, which I kind of planned for. I mean, I brought like some neck lights and things like that. And that made stitching a little bit tough. The conference was like jam-packed full too. So there was a whole lot of stuff for me to do with that. So like I said, didn't get as much stitching done as I wanted. I did get Little Acorns April piece finished, April section finished, and did get that motif on the Autumn Quaker. When I came back, I think just a couple days after I came back, I can't even remember when. I didn't go get to do anything fun. No, so that's a lie. At the conference, I treated myself to a massage at the spa that was in the hotel, and it was very nice, and I was very thankful. Anyway, shortly after I came back, my husband had surgery, and I think he had surgery on Friday. He had surgery the Friday that I came back. So there was like a number of days. I think I came back on Saturday. I had kind of thought about recording Sunday, but I was so tired from the trip and just was not feeling it. And then a couple days passed and my husband had surgery. So my husband, I'm not sure if I've said this on here before, so pardon if I'm repeating myself, but my husband got diagnosed with prostate cancer a couple months ago. When we came back from his eye surgery, if you remember, like it was March, I think. We came back from his eye surgery and we went directly into another hospital visit. And that was the biopsy on his prostate. And they already knew from like doing the MRI and stuff that it did indeed look, it was highly indicative of cancer. So did the biopsy in March, got diagnosed directly afterwards. Nice thing was from the biopsy is that it was a Gleason score 7, 3 plus 4. I'm not going to go into that whole thing, but it's basically not terrible news. Prostate cancer, if you guys don't know, like if you're going to get cancer, it's the type to get because the survival rates are very, very good, very good, as long as you get in there and get it treated one way or another. So he ended up with the option of either doing radiation therapy or having a prostatectomy. And even if he had the prostatectomy, because it was very close to, I'm sorry if I'm getting very technical here, but it was very close to the capsule where the tumor was, and it was a good sized tumor. There was a 48% chance that he was going to need radiation anyway, even after having his prostate removed. My husband, just from the moment, even before the biopsy, he's like, just take it out. Just take my prostate out. Just take it out. And of course, they can't do that until they have biopsy results, but he was insistent that he needed just to have it out. So he had that surgery before my birthday. I want to say it was on the 24th. I just had to stay in the hospital overnight. He's doing great. He's doing great. Pathology from everything came back really good. We won't know for like they won't do another PSA until 3 months after the surgery, just to see if there is any prostate hormone still in there in his body. But he's doing great. He is doing great. Other than driving me nuts, he's doing great. He's not supposed to pick up anything heavier than 15, 20 pounds for 6 weeks. That's going to be the hard part. Because he does not sit well, and he doesn't have a lot of sedentary hobbies. He has no sedentary hobbies. He just likes to be doing stuff all the time. So yes, he is doing great. So that was going on. And then of course he came back from the hospital, and he did do great. He never even needed pain meds, but there was a fair amount of caretaking that needed to help happen there also. And of course it's the end of my semester and I'm also busy at work and all of that good stuff. So that I have been juggling all of that. coming up on Tuesday, the 12th. So yeah, that's just 2 days away. Tuesday, the 12th, I'm having surgery because we're just taking turns at this point. I'm having surgery. I'm having surgery on my stomach. It is technically to fix a hiatal hernia, but because of other complications that I have going on with my stomach, I have like some people people hold their stress all different sorts of ways. Mine is in my gastrointestinal system. And so because of other things and other complications that I've had, they can't just do the normal surgery to fix the hiatal hernia. They have to do a gastric bypass, which I'm gutted about. It has to happen. I know it has to happen, but I hate it. I hate everything about it. Anyone who has had any kind of surgery on their stomach is probably a little bit familiar with this. I've had to deal with it before when I had another stomach surgery, which is the whole reason why they need to do the gastric bypass now, is that the prep for it is nothing but liquid protein shakes, essentially, because you need to get like 60 plus grams of protein in a day. Nothing but liquid for 2 weeks prior to the surgery. Ugh. There are some protein shakes I don't mind. Not a big fan, not gonna lie, not a big fan. And I was supposed to start on my birthday. Did I start on my birthday? No, I did not. I had a meal for my birthday because I knew it was the last normal meal I was going to be able to have. Normal, I don't know, normal meal I was going to be able to have for a while. So yes, I ate on my birthday. I was good up until dinner time and then had a birthday dinner. But yeah, so I have been on the all liquid diet, lots of protein shakes since the 28th. On top of that, no carbonation. And I like me my bubbles. No carbonation and no caffeine. And I'm a caffeine addict. To the point I didn't realize how much caffeine I probably consumed until I needed to go off of it. And so I spent like easily the first week just fighting a huge headache. Huge headache. Did not feel like stitching. Stitching was the last thing on my mind. I got a little bit done, not very much. On top of that, being super grumpy because I'm drinking nothing but protein shakes and clear liquids. So that's fun. And as of 10 days before the surgery, I also had to, second favorite thing, fun fact, needed to come off my arthritis meds, which is an NSAID, which I won't be allowed to take after the surgery either. So we're going to have to figure something out there. So that is Tuesday. I'll be in the hospital overnight. Not a huge deal. Like I said, I've been there, done that before with stomach surgery. I just know that the prep is awful. And so I've been grumpy. Like my poor husband has had his head, like my poor husband recovering from a prostatectomy because he had his prostate removed, has had his head bitten off regularly since my birthday because headache, liquid diet. Okay. He understands. He gets it. But I also know that like after surgery, it's like a week to 10 days of nothing but clear liquids, and you're still supposed to try to get a bunch of protein in. So I've got all sorts of like weird clear liquid protein stuff in my house prepping. And then for like a couple of weeks after that, I can go back to what I'm doing now. So woo, protein shakes. And then slowly start introducing new foods, very small portions at a time. So that's fun. So I probably have like a good month. Oh, that sounds terrible. A good month before I can have 1 or 2 tablespoons of like Greek yogurt 3 times a day. Fun fact, getting old sucks. So anyway, I've got that coming up. And like I said, headache, grumpy, my body hurts, arthritis, that kind of thing. So a lot of that has caused no stitchy days. Of course, we are also at the tail end of the semester, as I have shared with you guys, which is like crazy, crazy busy. Stuff has been coming off my list, which is really good. But work has been insanity, but it's coming to an end. Like it almost has come to an end. I have one final to give on Monday. I actually have a final to give on Tuesday, but a colleague is giving that for me because I will be in the hospital. I need to grade those. I need to finish up grading and post grades, and my semester is done. Yay. I need to type up faculty senate minutes, but then done. Yay. So super, super excited to be on summer time. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. Like there is a big light shining at the end of the tunnel. I wish my summer was just full of nothing but relaxing. It's definitely better than it has been it will be better than it has been the last couple of months, but I still have a lot I need to do this summer. I am teaching 2 classes this summer online. They will not take an extraordinary amount of time. Getting them set up is more than anything else. And then like if I spend an hour a day, an hour 3 times a week, like I should be in good shape with those classes. But I am teaching 2 classes over the summer. They start June 1st. I also have course redevelopment I need to finish, which I wasn't able to get to. So that is kind of top of the list. I also have a brand new course for the new program that I need to build out this summer, and another course redevelopment I need to start and try to finish by this summer, because those things need to go through academic affairs and get approved before they can go on the catalog. So I kind of need to have those ready by August. So I will probably be doing a couple hours of work at least. I'm going to try not to on the weekend, like maybe Monday through Friday, like sit down and just kind of have some dedicated work time first thing in the morning to try to get those projects moved forward. It doesn't look like we're going to have a pool. Of course, my husband wasn't able to finish the second round of resurfacing and painting before the surgery, and 6 weeks is a long time to not be able to lift anything and needing to take it easy. It's driving him nuts. He might be out there even though he shouldn't be before then. But by the time 6 weeks is into summer, it's going to take at least a couple weeks to get it finished up. And I'm not sure it's worth opening the pool at that point, but I'm going to hate not having it. But yeah, so that will be good. Like just be able to stay at home and not have to go to work, and that stuff should be good. They are changing all the carpets out in our offices this summer, so we have until the 20th to pull everything out of our offices. Like big furniture and stuff can be left, but everything else needs to be cleared off. Like stuff on the bookshelves are okay because those are built in, but everything else needs cleared out. So I've been working on that, trying to get as much of that done as I can before my surgery. Find out tomorrow if we're having puppies. The dogs are singing. Okay. Hi, Miss. Oh, Miss. Yeah. Hey, Miss. Hey, Miss Owen. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Come on. So this is Lucky. Hi. Hey, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. The dogs just came to visit. So yeah, we'll figure that out. If she does have puppies in there, they'll be due first week of June, I think. When you have Irish Wolfhound puppies, that is a big job because they are so big. Not just the puppies, the dogs. They basically require 24-hour care, like awake 24-hour care monitoring for the first 2 weeks. So that will be fun. If that happens, it won't be fun, but I mean, they're darling. The puppies are darling. So I guess it's worth it. It's just exhausting. So finding out about that on Monday, and then my friend Anne, who is leaving the country, I think she flies out on the 27th, I want to say, of Denver. And so I took the opportunity to volunteer myself to drive her to Denver as an excuse to go see my daughter and granddaughters. So we will be heading that way. I can't be there very long because I've got other stuff to do here, but I am still planning on a trip that way. But so that is all the crazy life stuff that has been going on. Silver lining on all of that is post-surgery, I have every single excuse in the world for just like sitting and stitching and spoiling myself for a little bit. I don't have to have classes ready until June 1st. So I might just kind of take that whole period as much as I can, not work on course development, not do any of that stuff. Just kind of rest and stitch. So lots of stitching time should happen. So catch-up stitching is well within reach. Puppies. If we end up having puppies, 24 hours sitting in the room, eyes on puppies for 2 weeks. Again, fantastic stitching time. I will have to kind of like move a more comfortable chair into the guest room, and I don't know, there's a chair in there that would probably work. Make sure I have good light, but again, could be very nice dedicated stitching time. So I'm not upset about that either. I am very much looking forward to having that wonderful, cushy 3-month off period that we have in academia, even though mine is chocked full and I'm teaching classes as overloads because that's what we do. One of these summers, I might actually just take a full summer off. It is not this summer. So that is that crazy life update. Other than that, doing good. Grumpy, headaches are gone. Grumpy because I'm not eating. Headaches are gone. You never realize how much food is part of your life until you're on an extended all liquid diet. You don't realize how many commercials on the television are food related. I remember from the last time I had stomach surgery that you don't think about how social food is. Like, you really can't go out and grab lunch with somebody. You can't go grab a cup of coffee with somebody. And decaf coffee is, I'm sorry, it's just like sad brown water. Trying, but I can't get behind it. Yeah, it's tough. You don't realize like how much of your life like revolves around food until you can't. So, yeah, my poor husband has dealt with it. He understands. He's good with it, but there's just been a lot. So, like I said, lots of no stitchy days, between busy, grumpy, headaches, body hurting, all of that good stuff. So yeah, crazy, crazy life stuff. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry it took me so long to record. I hope to be able to record again, maybe even next weekend. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. I should have had lots of times to stitch stuff, and these videos tend to be a lot more manageable and not feature length. If I actually get on here regularly. So I'm going to try to hit you back next weekend, if not the weekend after. Maybe. Yeah. Definitely before I go to Denver, I'm going to try to hit you guys again. So thank you for joining me. As always, leave me a comment. Keep stitching. Take care of yourself. Find those moments of peace that you can in this crazy world that we live in. Take care. I'll see you soon.